you beautiful people? Welcome to a brand new episode of Frequels. I'm your host, EJ Leeson, and with me today are my co-hosts, Rory and Vince. What's up, guys? How are you?
I'm so excited to be here today.
Yo, me too.
Let's get right into this movie. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the movie that brought us here today. And probably one of the most polarizing Halloween films to date. A lot of Halloween fans are so split on this movie. Like, a lot of people either love this movie, Halloween Ends, or they hate it. I kind of loved it. As far as like Halloween movies go, and I'm sure we'll like talk about, throughout the breakdown and stuff, how much we either like it or hate it. And I'm definitely rip on it here and there, yeah. But I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's probably one of my favorite Halloween sequels in a long time. We have two amazing, cool, funny people sitting in with us, Caitlin and Walter. How are you guys over there?
Good. Fantastic.
Walter had his hand up before, like he had something to say, but then I kept acting like I didn't see him.
I did, but you ignored me.
It's okay.
We're
gonna get to the order of this. You're gonna be fine. We'll fit you in.
I'll come up.
Do you remember?
I had a point, but yeah. No.
Do you remember it?
No.
Don't worry. We'll come back to it. There's plenty of time.
I just want you to know, Walter, you are seen.
You are seen.
We got you. So let's not talk to Walter today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I just want to say thanks for these guys.
Thanks for coming in, though. Seriously, that's gonna be fun.
But yeah, let's get into the breakdown. Yeah. All right. So the movie begins Halloween 2019, and we meet our protagonist, anti-hero.
Strong anti-hero.
Yeah. Corey Cunningham, who is hired to
handsome Corey Cunningham.
Super handsome. He has glasses. I feel like that's important. It plays into stuff going on later on.
Sure does.
Yeah. But
I really enjoyed him. I thought he was great in this.
Yeah.
I saw that. I checked his IMDb. He's in apparently the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
So there's a Hardy Boys series, which apparently I'm gonna check it out now just because I thought he was so good in this.
Yeah.
So
he's incredible. Like I actually thought he was like one of the best parts of this movie.
He had that Dahmer effect for me when I watched Dahmer and whoever played Dahmer. It like
Evan
Peters. Yeah.
I was scared. I was kind of worried about what he was capable of, and I got that from this.
As a guy who doesn't feel things anymore, I wasn't all that.
Well, I'm usually told how to feel things, but this one I registered on this one.
So we meet Corey Cunningham. Yeah, strong edit. No, but we get to meet Corey Cunningham, who is riding his bicycle, and he is hired to babysit the worst kid ever. This kid straight up sucks, I guess.
Is there something in going to lore of all of this that he didn't want to be called a babysitter?
He's just like, I know what happens to those guys.
I know what happens in movies. But yeah, so Corey Cunningham is hired to babysit this awful kid, and just the worst. And so this kid, they end up watching some movies, and they watched the remake of The Thing, which is a really cool nod to like the original Halloween, where Tommy Doyle and Lindsay are watching the original
Thing from Another World.
Yeah, and so they're watching this movie, they're enjoying
Howard
it.
Hawks joint.
Yeah, that old Howard Hawks joint.
For all you kids out there who love Howard Hawks.
Yeah, but anyways, they're watching this movie, and then Corey. It's like, hey man, you should probably head to bed, and this kid's like, oh, I suck, and but eventually Corey.
That was actually a line in the film.
Yeah,
I'm the worst.
I'm the worst. But Corey's like, why don't we play hide and seek, right? So the kid's like, no, I don't want to play that, and then 2 seconds later, he's like,
drugs.
Yeah, I want to shoot drugs, Corey. No, but this kid, he ends up agreeing to play the game, right? And so he's hiding, and
does a good job for the record.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah.
For the record,
He did very well.
Corey's seeking, not great, but yeah. So Corey gets locked in the attic by this kid. Jeremy is his name, and so Jeremy locks Corey into the attic, and he's not letting him out, right? So Corey's like, come on, let me out. And he is getting freaked out. He actually kicks the door open. And when he does that, the door hits Jeremy in the head. And he falls over the balcony 3 stories down to his death.
He becomes Jeremy Lannister.
One of my favorite parts is that, like, he's locked in that room, and as he's yelling, I'm going to kill you, of course, that's when Mom walks in and hears it. And it's perfect timing. Knife in the hand, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was in really poor taste when Corey asked for his money from the parents at the end.
So that $20.
Yeah, so like, I don't want to make this awkward or anything, but can I maybe have my $20?
He should have got paid. I mean,
so
he dealt with that little bastard.
Holds up
$20.
Holds up a 20 saturated in his child's blood.
You're like, oh yeah, honey, pay the babysitter. But no, it's cool because this movie has a lot of like cool visuals that play into the overall theme of this movie, which is like transformation and your descent into evil. You know, so
which is interesting because for those of you who have seen this movie, which you should probably see the movie before listening to us babble about it, but it's fun because like Corey literally, has that shot where he's at the top of the stairwell, and then he eventually descends to the bottom of the stairwell where he.
And no spoilers, just come right out with it. At the end of the movie, he dies. So he begins the movie with explain it fully. If they haven't watched it, they're not going to watch it. So go through it. Say exactly what you want to say.
There's like a whole thematical thing going on of like a descent into darkness, right?
Yeah.
So like stairwells going from the top to the bottom of the stairwell. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I also like there's a lot of stuff in this movie about transformations. So Jeremy wearing the little werewolf mask is perfect because it's about the monster underneath the regular human being.
The whole like transformation from good into monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's like one of those like things where you're like, okay, so they're gonna be doing something thoughtful with this one.
Yeah.
It's not just kind of like the start of a slasher movie sometimes where it's like, here's your disposable teen.
Yeah, your cold sting. You know what I mean? Like, and
this one starts off with a child dying.
Yeah.
That's the kind of movie you're watching.
Yeah. And so as soon as
Did you guys find the laugh track a little off-putting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was needed.
Yeah.
Just so I know where to laugh.
I thought it was weird when you hear like the laughter and then the parents walk in. It's like, oh!
Ooh, like the whole audience.
Yeah. Like when Kramer walks in and everyone cheers.
Yeah.
As soon as that kid hit the floor,
everyone cheered.
All those people cheering, I didn't get it, but now I like it.
I like how
I clapped.
I liked when the mom entered like Kramer.
Whoa, Jeremy!
Jeremy Seinfeld.
But so we see where Jeremy falls to his death, and the parents enter, and they kind of see Corey upstairs holding the knife and like looking super sus and guilty, and so
I know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I know what this knife covered in blood looks like.
But guys, hear me out. Your son that is split in half right now. Do I get half paid for that? No, but anyways,
I mean, the thing is, you can technically grow another child. You don't need that one.
Right, just keep going.
Yeah, you'll grow a better baby.
Rory, really?
It's easy.
Yeah.
You can grow another child? Come on.
No, it only takes 9 months.
I'm not saying I didn't cheer when Jeremy fell, but,
Yeah. But, so, the movie then cuts right into the opening credits. It's amazing. Obviously
more transformation.
Yeah, of
pumpkins.
The pumpkins.
I thought evil changing forms.
Yeah,
changing shape, which is
keeps going.
What
and going
movies about?
Yeah,
that graphic was fantastic. It was so simple. It was just pumpkin after pumpkin. The credits, that music, how it literally, I could feel my heartbeat getting faster with it, which was I'm assuming his goal. So that first scene with that song that I loved. That kid giving me a jump scare, which I didn't like, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
A kid dying. Mm-hmm. I'm in on this. After all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this, and I was really happy. 5 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, this is so you watched the first movie, right?
No, this is the first Halloween I've ever seen.
Okay, so so the movie opens perfectly for you specifically.
That freaking montage, montage was like, oh, okay, I'm caught up, I'm good, let's go.
Last week on Halloween.
Yeah, so it starts off with this voiceover by JLC, aka Laurie Strode, the hero of Halloween, who, luckily recaps the Halloween movies for Vince, who, hasn't seen any of them, And so she kind of gives us like the rundown on everything that has happened since Halloween Kills, but also previous to that too, like leading up to Kills. Yeah.
Rory, I just have to throw this out there. First of all, Vince is 40 years old, and this is the first Halloween movie he's ever seen. It's tragic. I just need to put that out there.
He saw Halloween Town, right? It's the same thing.
Halloween Town. Okay, well, all right. Then do we want to talk Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2? In fact, he's
Walter
40
made
years
demands coming in here that we talk about Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
He was flipping things over. It was really upsetting.
If you want to go there, I mean, Hocus Pocus 3 has been announced. The fact
You can
that
literally
he's
hear
40
6-year-old girls squealing
this,
right now.
If this is truly Vince's first Halloween movie he's seen, Vince, that's a tragedy.
I don't like scary movies, Walter.
So real quick before
Go ahead, Rory.
further derail this thing, they do this thing where they say the first movie is the only one that counts. Right. But they still try to act like the events of the other movies happen when it's convenient.
Right.
Because in the last movie, they're like, he's been terrorizing this town for 40 years. And I'm like, no, one night.
One night.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is like, he's been torturing me for 40 years. I'm like, he chased you across the yard with a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
And you got away.
And she got away. Like, killed her friends, which sucks because she had to make new ones.
Who hasn't had their friends murdered by a serial killer?
But no, you're right. Like, they really, they're like, okay, we're going to ignore all the other Halloween movies.
Until we need to use them.
But, Michael still has this presence that kind of lurked over Haddonfield for 40 years, even though it was just that one night. 40 years ago. But yeah, no, she kind of like recaps us, and we find out, Michael kind of disappeared after Halloween Kills, and there's a bit of a time jump too. So it's been 4 years since Michael was last seen, and she's like working on a memoir kind of thing.
Is this when she's talking about like how Michael Myers essentially like poisoned the town?
Yeah.
Did you catch Oscar's mother? She like hung herself and she was wearing the costume.
Yeah, that he died in. Yeah, that was really cool.
Was that the old lady hanging?
Yeah, it was
next to the side of the house.
And the 2018 movie, like it's like her son was murdered, so her wearing the costume, and I thought that was an interesting thing. But actually, what it really was was actually live footage of the actress after she watched Halloween Kills.
Oh, no.
She was like, I thought this was going to be
so
something
wrong,
special.
Rory.
Hey-o.
That is funny, but that is so wrong.
No, but
that's what people say to me my entire life, buddy.
But yeah, so we see like Laurie, and she's writing.
The joke was the woman hung herself, Walter.
But yeah, we see her. She's like working on her book and stuff, or memoir. I don't know, like if she's releasing it. I have no. They don't really touch on this.
I think
it was more for closure.
The police officer.
Yeah.
Didn't he say, or didn't she say something to him along the lines of like, "Oh, I'm finally writing this thing," and didn't she say it was because of you?
Yeah, like
So
at the grocery store.
He had suggested to her that she write a book for closure. I don't know.
From what I understand, she started off writing a grocery list, and then she got confused.
Eggs.
And she's like, I need bananas.
Eggs.
Delete.
Bananas.
Oranges. Delete.
Michael Myers came into my life 30 years ago.
Hold on.
My daughter.
Hey, you know what? So real quick, in her montage,
when
she's talking about her book, she gives Allison the wedding rings from her dead parents. Did you watch the deleted scene?
No.
When there's actually like dialogue.
No.
She's like, I'm gonna need you to bring these to Mordor. You remember that? She's like, I know you're.
At first, I was like, oh no, that's really
no. Remember, she was like, I know you're
Smart
reeling from your parents' death, but can you take these to Mordor?
Here and just throw them in.
There's a bigger evil coming.
Yeah.
Here I am thinking that you're going to make a dead parent joke, and you make a Lord of the Rings joke instead, which is
I'm unpredictable.
Par for the course. It's good.
However,
Keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
However, the montage was
Wild
phenomenal.
card. But yeah, so we kind of find out now that Lori and Allison are living together, and in like what the state of Haddonfield has become. So then the next scene we see Corey riding his bicycle.
Oh, we're not skipping over something.
Oh wait, what do we? Wait,
Yeah,
what?
We're not.
Yes.
We're not skipping something. So there's this whole thing about Lori making a pie.
Oh,
You
With the
forgot
burning-
this,
with the
right?
burning of the-
I actually skipped it on purpose because I hated
Because
it.
it's stupid. Okay, well, let me tell you something right now. So, like, Lori's pie tradition, it's sweet but flawed because, in all honesty, she's literally trying to make like a special day out of her mother's murder anniversary.
Yeah.
Do you
Hey,
know what I
remember
mean?
that time your mom was horribly murdered?
I mean, come on.
Have some pie.
But yeah, so the next scene we see Corey riding his bicycle to work, which is at like a junkyard / auto body shop, and let the Christine references begin.
Because there's a lot.
Because there's so much. So I don't know, did you see Christine? Because maybe.
No.
No?
What's
okay.
explain?
It's a Stephen King story about a kid, a nerdy kid, and he becomes obsessed with this car, which is actually the embodiment of evil. And he starts to transform himself. He loses the glasses. No joke. His name Artie Cunningham. We have Corey Cunningham. Both work in a junkyard.
It's a John Carpenter film.
It's a John
They're
Carpenter
very
film.
like inspired by.
Yeah.
So
Christine.
is this something I need to check
on.
out and look into?
I think Christine's really fun
It's
to watch.
a solid
I
flick.
cannot compare Christine to any of the Halloween movies. In my,
Wrong, but that's
in my
fine.
opinion. Rory, wrong.
You are
Really?
incorrect.
That's why we like opinions here.
What Halloween movie compares to a Stephen King movie?
This one.
This one. So
might.
back to the junkyard.
Yeah, so back to Corey works at this junkyard auto body shop, which is very similar to Artie in Christine, but also, they both get consumed by evil throughout the movie, and then eventually having the transformation where they both lose their glasses. They go from nerd to like hot guy, in a sense. But you definitely saw like a lot of those references, right?
Yeah, and
Between
there's
Christine-
also kind of going along with the werewolf mask, the transformation thing.
Yeah.
If you notice, we go from bicycle to something with more power.
Yep.
Motorcycle.
That's right.
I'm telling you, it's throughout this entire film.
It's layered. It really is. Like, they do a great job with that. So we get to meet like Corey and get to know a little bit more about him. Like, it's actually, he works for, I guess, like his stepfather or at least his mother's significant other.
Who I loved,
ambiguous.
Yeah, he was great.
He
He
was-
was awesome.
but he was adorable. Like
Yeah.
the crowd, the audience is forced to fall in love with that guy.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. I feel like he's really likable, and he is trying to help Corey. You know what I mean? And which is
I like
don't know.
later on in the movie's like, I hope you find love someday. Because
Because I sure as hell did.
that's right in that tone. He's
Yeah.
just like, because I probably never will. Your mom wants to kiss you more than she wants to kiss me.
So then
That's not even a joke.
Then we have like this cool shot under the bridge downtown where evil lives.
Wait,
Under the bridge
wait,
downtown.
are we at the point where the police officer pulls over?
Oh yeah.
Is this the shot that you're talking
yep.
about?
That's
All right.
that's the part where he gets pulled over for being the prettiest girl in town. Which, by the way, I was also
It's-
arrested for that once.
And an absolute waste of government, facilities and like just a completely unnecessary traffic
Defund
stop.
that police.
Just so he can meet to this chick in the car.
Yeah, 100%.
But again, because you know how much I love it, that shot of him saying to her, "Oh, you better get that taken care of," and then he walks away from the car, and then I love me a crane shot. They pull away and go down, and then you see the homeless guy That and
he's got goosebumps.
I got the goosebumps.
You can't see it, but Vince has goosebumps right now.
That was, again, like that stair shot. When I saw that, I was like, that's just a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
It's just, and I love that in all of these movies. When they do those little things, that it's just like, there's 100 ways they could have done that. But that way that they did it there was perfect. And that's why it's in the movie, and that's why they get to make movies.
Yeah.
And we're talking about movies.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And again, the whole transformation thing, evil is under the surface, right? Like, how freaking awesome is that?
Yeah.
I love that. And but yeah, so we have the next scene where Corey, he's at the grocery store and he comes across some of the worst group of teen bullies I've ever seen.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. In my notes for the sewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know why I wrote this. It says, Michael Myers and Pennywise this summer in The Odd Couple.
They just share a sewer together.
Like a side.
Yeah. That's your side over there. Michael, I float down here. You don't float down here. But yeah, no, so anyways, yeah.
Back to the marching band.
Back to the worst group of teen bullies I've ever seen. They start to pick on Corey because they're like, hey, man, buy us some beer.
Go in there and buy us some beer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's from Haddonfield.
I'm like, Haddonfield?
Wait, that kid's from Illinois?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought it.
Sure.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Letterman, he's the kid in the Letterman jacket.
If I had to guess, only because I was a band nerd, their drum line, which is different from band, they all play drums, and those kids are cool. Like you could be in band, but you're typically a nerd. But if you're in drumline, you develop a Brooklyn accent like this kid did.
Sure.
Yeah.
In Illinois. I mean, what are the odds of that?
It's actually weird because when I started playing guitar, I developed a terrible drinking problem.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk? Can we talk about that here?
No. That's
We'll
the next
it.
podcast.
Guys, I think it's becoming a problem.
We don't want to talk about your problems.
My family's being torn apart by it, though.
So, back to the movie.
Let's just break down into these teens right now, because I was going to do it later, but it is the four strangest coupling.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you want to discuss this.
Yeah, because
just like Mullet Boy.
Yeah, so you have a jock who's wearing like the typical Letterman jacket.
You say Mullet Boy, it's not Mullet Boy, it's Bangs Boy.
Bangs Boy.
Because those
Bangs
bangs
and mullet.
Bangs McCoy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have him who is trying to be Pete Davidson, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think that's what he's going for. And then we have like the nice girl who
don't do it, guys.
Never brushed her hair. Yeah, she never brushed her hair once in her
has
life.
no idea where the conditioner is in the store.
She just is a mess. And then we have the other girl who is definitely in in band because she's still wearing the uniform. Why are these four hanging out? I don't know. It just never.
Haddonfield's a very small town.
Yeah, I guess so. They're like.
I can tell you why they're hanging out, because it helps carry the plot.
True.
The script said we have these four types.
Characters,
yeah.
And we need them to touch on every stereotype possible of high school. But yeah, so
they nailed it.
They nailed it. Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in high school, the badass marching band.
Yeah. But so these four, they pick on Corey for not buying beer for them. And
you're not going to do something illegal for me? Where you could... Hey, you're already on the police's radar for killing a friggin' kid last year. Yeah. What do you mean you're not going to buy me beer?
You have no problem, Jamie Lannistering kids. But you know what?
Buy you beer?
Where's your line exactly?
You won't buy us beer?
Murdering, yes. Buying underage kids beer... No. Not feeling it.
You know how they talk about? You know how they talk about a thin line? This kid's got the thickest line ever.
Yeah,
he plays by his own rules. Yeah. It's the Cunningham way.
But so they end up picking on. So good. But they end up picking up on Corey, and then Lori kind of bails him out. Right? She's like, "Hey, leave him alone." And they're like, "Shut up, you psycho and a freak show," right? Is it psycho and freak show? Yeah. I think that's right.
She's like, "That's Mrs. Strode."
It comes later into play, dialogue later. Corey's like, "Oh, I guess I'm the psycho,
and you're the freak show." Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, she kind of takes Corey to.
Well, real quick.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
That's another thing that I really loved in this movie is this visual of when Corey, I don't know, he like hulks that glass of milk or the bottle of milk.
Yeah.
And it like smashes. That hand starts becoming infected, and then they start later on. They talk about how evil is like an infection.
Yeah.
And she says the girl says that to him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting infected.
But what's also interesting is that it starts healing when he's around Michael.
Yeah. When he starts to like, so later on, we'll get to it, but with the doctor and the nurse, he actually holds it. He looks at his hand for the first time, and he sees it's like completely healed.
You see the stitches and the lines, and she's like touching it,
and so he's like, and he puts that hand to the glass to even show, like the transformation, like his descent is kind of like also supernatural in a way that he has like these supernatural abilities now, right?
So yeah, it's just kind of that whole. And like I love that. It was like evil is an infection and it infects you, and then it's just there for the entire film as like a visual. I just thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
They don't draw attention. That's one of the things I really like about the details in this film. They don't draw too much attention to it.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
You could be heavy-handed with it, but they were very subtle with everything that they did, I feel.
The movie prior to this was the opposite.
So it was very heavy-handed.
Oh, we should do an episode on Halloween Kills someday. That is...
Yeah.
That is like...
Yeah.
It's madness.
It's wild. Like...
Bad or...
You say yes.
Shockingly so.
Shocking.
And I say it was fun.
So now...
Pumpkin pies tonight.
Pumpkin pies tonight. We should definitely cover Halloween Kills because I feel like you watching it, you're just gonna be like, what is going on? Yeah. But yeah, so Laurie ends up kind of bailing him out, right?
After she encourages him to commit yet another crime. Everybody wants Corey to commit a crime.
So she bails him out. Who they terrorize adult Corey and a very adult Laurie. Like they're like antagonize these high school teens are like fuck you to like Laurie
and tibia my ass.
We're both adults now, you know what I mean? Like it's insane.
Yeah, they're like 5-year-olds picking on the elderly.
Yeah, it's just like what is going on? But don't worry. Laurie and Corey, they get revenge by slashing the high schoolers' tires. And,
no, not tires. Tire, singular.
Oh yeah, tire, and
I love how one single tire created such an inconvenience for this kid.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
Oh, he
deserved it. It would have been awesome if they had like another little scene, just like another couple seconds, where she's like, you know what you got to do, and she hands him the knife, and then he just like runs in and robs the gas station, and she's just like, well, I meant like
he runs out with the milk. He like robs it, but he only gets the milk that he just squashed in his hand.
She's like, I didn't mean that.
No,
I just meant
son.
we'd get his tires, but I mean that's cool.
But yeah, so Laurie takes Corey to get stitches where her granddaughter Allison works, and we see where Allison and Corey, they kind of hit it off. And so Corey ends up taking Andy for a ride. Like, well, first she's like, "Oh, could you check?" Or Allison, I'm sorry.
You're thinking about
Andy
the actress's name,
yeah, it's like the actress. I'm so sorry.
We'll allow it. It's okay.
Yeah.
New host next week, guys.
Yeah. But they end up going for a ride. But before they take off, we see that high school bully shows up with his father, and the father's like berating.
Idiot.
Yeah, you idiot kid. How dare you? How do you not know how to get your tires on slash?
The smack across the top of the head is always good. That's always good.
Vince, that's how you raise your children, I've noticed.
Which ones?
Yes.
When I first met Vince, I was like, do you have children? And he's like, most likely.
I said probably. There's a difference.
Right. Yeah, you're like, do you have kids? You're like, yeah, but you can't prove it.
No, I have 2 that I know about.
But yeah, no, so then we get where Laurie, she's at the grocery store, and she runs into Hawkins, who is kind of retired from the police now, right? Like he pretty much...
No, I'm assuming he's like a detective top tier because he's in the police station at some point, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah.
Then how the hell... why does he show up on scene?
No, that was a flashback. No, that was like...
Doesn't he get a call at some point saying so-and-so called, I just got a call that so and so had a suicide.
Oh yeah, he
call.
does at the end.
Oh,
He's
I
like,
guess he does.
Yeah.
So
Right.
isn't
I guess maybe he is like a.
he actually has he's conveniently retired cop.
he's getting the information that he shouldn't be receiving as a retired.
Just like a
police
bunch of cops who don't know what they're doing. They're just like, yo, can you help us out here?
Hey,
Yeah.
could you? Some lady just called a suicide call in. Are you busy?
Remember, you're the only person that ever dealt with murder in Haddonfield. Can you come out, please?
Are you busy?
Yeah.
I just saw some kid like crush a glass bottle of milk.
Yeah.
How should I handle this?
How should I handle this? But they're at the grocery store, and love is in the air. So is the tone of Blue Oyster Cult. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was nice.
I love that,
That's a,
yes.
like throwback to the original, and like they play, Blue Oyster Cult, and the original Halloween. So I thought that was a really cool, way to get the song in
Also,
there.
just to remind you that it's a Halloween movie, because boy, that scene feels like it's from a completely different movie.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching On Golden Pond.
Yeah,
Remember that movie?
As good as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Halloween movie. Oh,
yeah.
my god.
Oh.
I just want to point something out because I went back and I rewatched
I'm not
it.
elderly shaming, by the way.
That's fine. It's okay. You're gonna be old someday.
Yes, I am.
So the
hate
thing that
the
was
elderly.
it drove me crazy, and I went back 3 or 4 times, and I watched this with my wife, and she was starting to get pissed at me. I had to go back 3 or 4 times. Jamie Lee Curtis never pays.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that.
Huh.
So I'll challenge you to go back. And that's just one of those things that just aggravates me. She goes through the line. They're talking. There's banter. Never at any point does she offer to pay for her food or her groceries or her vegetables because there's no meat
No
in there
wonder
because he
why
bought all the meat.
so this makes sense now because so the original Halloween, Michael Myers killed 5 people and there's no exchange of currency. So this is a happy town where everyone just goes off the grace of
We're trying
goodwill.
Socialism.
Yeah.
Karl Marx. Yeah. Karl Marx.
And
It's Karl Marx
Halloween.
socialism.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know? I just not to derail everyone. Karl Marx's wife, Anya. Ready for this? This is the true fact right here. Karl Marx's wife, Anya, was one of the world's fastest women on the planet, and they talk about her at the beginning of every race.
Really?
Yeah, Anya Marx.
Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good.
Good.
Do you know she also played Michael Myers?
Yeah. So as Lori
Meep,
is
meep.
leaving, she gets berated by some lady who just blames Lori, not Michael, mind you, right? But blames Lori for what happened to her sister in the beginning of Halloween Kills. And she's like, it's your fault, you're the one that did this. And it's just like, would you really berate someone who went through a traumatizing thing?
If I was Lori, I would have just responded with, I'm pretty sure I had nothing to do with Michael Myers stabbing that woman in the neck with a halogen bulb.
All right. Right.
Was that what it was? Was that one of those halogen
Yeah,
bulbs?
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had nothing to do with that. He
Yeah.
wasn't there. By the way, in
And-
Halloween Kills, that's one of my favorite scenes. Remember when he's trying out knives?
Yeah, he's trying
He's
out
like,
the different knives. He's like,
maybe.
I don't know. And then it's a cool scene.
So the woman outside the grocery store, I thought that was looking like you like to look deeper. I thought that was great, a view of the human condition, because it almost feels like Jamie Lee Curtis's character is accepting what's going on in her life, and she's finally healing herself, and she's getting better, and she's doing all these things, and she's writing a book, and she's trying to move past all these things, and then it just takes one person to say one thing, and you're on this high, and now you're
There's
right down.
also
That's
another.
really. I love that, Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also this other thing going on in that scene too. And I know you guys are both looking at me right now like I'm going to say something funny, and
No,
I'm
no,
not. I
bring
promise
it.
I'm being
I like
very
it.
serious. No, there's a whole thing in there too about how they don't have a boogeyman anymore to project all of their anger towards.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a commentary on society about how you have to have a person to project.
I thought that by the end of the movie, Jamie Lee Curtis was making the boogeyman herself,
Well,
and
I
how
want
she's
to talk.
created.
Please bring that back up because
Okay, I'll try.
I do have an interpretation of something. We'll get
Yeah.
back to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on one
well,
second. I just got to take my medications. Hold on a second.
I was gonna say, like we don't have time. You're hot on it. Bring it. What do you got there?
I'm just taking some pills. I can't talk right now.
So we see, Lori gets berated, and I think Vince, that what you said was actually beautiful. Like I think
just because I said the terms human condition, didn't that make it sound super smart?
Oh man, dude, super smart.
I think it was all the pills I just took. It sounded great.
Yeah, it was hot.
Thank you.
Take your
question mark.
Take your shirt off.
Hey, you know
the other one? Took off too.
Do me a favor. Take off the shirt. Lose it.
Kiss EJ.
Now.
All right. Now that I've already derailed us.
Oh yeah, no. So,
no. Okay. Go ahead.
But so Corey and Allison go to a bar for like a Halloween costume party, and
where Nick Castle makes a pretty cool cameo.
Yes. Yeah. So I love Corey's scarecrow mask.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Terrifying.
Right?
Yes.
Terrifying,
awesome.
right?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like terrifying, but at the same time, it's like I don't know.
My
so
wife
cool.
was like, my wife said it's like that 80s shit. Like that paper mache. Like, you ever see pictures from the 80s of Halloween costumes?
Oh yeah,
everything was terrifying.
Yeah,
everything was terrifying.
They came in the box, and it was just like that, like little vinyl mask, and then
and
like
that one little
paper,
string.
Yeah, it would be like a paper
Jedi's.
costume.
Yeah, it's a smock.
Yeah,
It's like a smock with like a picture of the character you're trying to be on.
Not even a full costume. You just get the front.
It's like a smock with a picture of Superman on it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
No
so it's
cape.
like a Superman mask with like literally a picture of Superman on the like this awful like easily to tear like costume.
Polyester. It's paper thin. Yeah.
But yeah, so they're at this this awesome like cool kind of like bar, and like you said, Nick Castle is the flasher. He's like, hey, you know, and he
See
like,
anything you like?
See anything you like, which is obviously like a callback to the original
Halloween.
Halloween,
EJ
where there was like a
Souls.
girl
Which is why I didn't get that.
who says it. But Nick Castle actually plays the original Michael Myers. Like, he was the man in the costume.
Okay.
But Nick Castle has a prolific kind of career.
Last Starfighter, was that what it was?
Yeah, he directed, he wrote, and a lot of people don't know this, but Nick Castle wrote Hook. I don't know if you knew that. Did you? You knew that though, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Dustin
know what
Hoffman,
else?
Robin Williams.
I mean, I know you didn't see the original Halloween, but like that costume he's wearing, that was actually the original Michael Myers costume.
Like,
When he the See Anything You Like,
oh,
that's actually how he dressed in the original
okay,
Halloween.
all right.
No, that's not true.
No, it's true.
You know what? I'm not going to fact check him, so I'm going to have to take your word for
Just
it.
take
Michael
his word.
Myers was very, very sexy in the original
Yeah, he
movie.
was. It was
Very
hot.
lacy.
I mean, that's why it's so popular. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Sex sells. Hey, you know, real quick before we move on, because I know we won't talk. Anyone's going to stay on this for too long, but there's a photo booth in that bar. There's
Yeah.
a photo booth in a bar. So I imagine there's a lot of unfortunate photos that were taken.
Yes. Yeah. No, I thought
You know,
that
that's what my head went when I
Yeah.
saw that. I'm like, I just pictured some guy like vomiting or like.
it's like, yeah, he's like taking a picture. He's like, hey, you see anything you
Right?
like? Nick Castle was definitely in there doing something wrong. No, but Nick Castle.
Hey, you two, get out of there!
Yeah, but Nick Castle, he directed like Dennis the Menace, Major Payne. But I love Nick Castle. He's like the coolest dude. I got to meet him.
Me too.
And isn't he like
He's super
the
nice.
nicest guy?
Yeah. You know, it's weird though. He said he didn't like you very much.
Yeah, that checks.
I'm like, oh, it's really cool. You got to meet all your fans. Like, I love meeting my fans, except this one.
But another cool.
What's
fact,
funny is that you told me that specifically. You made a
Yeah.
point to tell me that he did not like EJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that story.
and another cool fact about
I was
Nick
like,
Castle.
well, you and I have some things in common, Nick Castle. But go on, EJ.
No, I was just gonna say another cool fact that some people might not know is Nick Castle was in a band with John Carpenter and Tommy Lee Wallace,
Villes.
the Coupe de Villes,
I
and
know
they
this.
did the song "Big Trouble in Little China" for the movie.
Yeah,
You knew that?
I knew that. Yes.
No way. Okay,
I know way more about music than I know about movies.
that's awesome.
I would
But you
also,
could tell his vocals in that because it's like "Big Trouble," which is absolutely Tommy Lee Wallace.
It sounds just like him.
Little China. Yeah, he does like that part, like in China.
They're listening to the Coupe de Villes in the original Halloween.
Yeah.
Like when Annie picks up Lori.
Yeah, and they're in like the yeah.
I'll have to look for that. I don't know.
Watch
it's
the
really
original
cool.
Halloween. That's like,
maybe
I'll say this. I mean, most people have already said this, but I'm just going to say it too. I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. But
Yeah.
let's get back on track, kids.
Yes. Yeah. So at the Halloween party, we see where Corey and Allison are kind of like hitting it off. They start dancing. I love Corey's dancing, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I had to like comment on that because he
You
literally
zero
looks
in
like
on
he just
dancing.
has like a seizure on the floor, and Allison like looks concerned for a second, like, oh my god, is he okay? And then he just gets up, he's like, ah! And I was like, yo, I love this kid.
Yeah,
He's
Corey
awesome.
Cunningham's the man.
Yeah. And so then he's having a great time, and he actually is drinking alcohol for the first time in the movie, because we see like there's a couple times where he could easily have like
The Heineken in the fridge.
the Heineken in the fridge in the very
It's a
beginning.
temptation.
Yeah, it's like a temptation thing. And then we also see, like the kids are like, hey, buy us beer, and he could easily go in there to that convenience store and buy that. You know what I mean? And even drink that over like the milk that he's drinking. But like
He's trying to make the choices to, yes.
yeah, like he's trying to stay on that like that pure path. And then Allison, he's like just kind of cutting it loose for the first time, like just enjoying himself, which is like probably the first time in like so many years, right? And so
It's probably the only time you see him like that.
yeah,
too.
especially in this movie. Anyways, we have where Corey, he's having a good time, and he goes to the bar to get another beer, right? And he actually runs into the mother of Jeremy, the little boy that died in the beginning, and she like just kind of like lays into him for having a good time. She's like, "Oh, you're out here having fun?
Oh, you're here doing the same thing that I'm doing?
Yeah, she's literally out."
But no, but she lost her kid, so she's drinking away her warmth.
Yeah,
He
that's
killed
true.
her kid. He's drinking away that pain.
But in my notes,
Rory hit me. Here it comes.
in my notes, I just put, "Come on, just grow a new kid, lady."
Just grow a new
Grow a new kid.
In actuality, she's there warning her kid. He's there dancing with his shirt off, laying on the floor.
Ever since you had kids, you grew a soul, and I don't like it.
No one likes it.
On Corey's walk home, the high school bullies who threw Corey, they run into Corey and they're like, "Oh, you think you're kind of cool because you slashed our tire, blah blah blah," and they end up throwing Corey off the bridge. And they're like,
I just
"You
pictured
slipped."
I just pictured Ron Burgundy like, "Well, that escalated."
And but
The band kids.
yeah, the band's kids. They're like, "Oh, he slipped." But the really weird part is
That's the way I saw it.
yeah, that's how I saw it.
Why did I write this? I put, "Oh no, the lowly marching band is back."
Yeah.
Lowly,
Because we were looking for them.
I don't know.
These kids are just so unlikable, except for one, like the girl who doesn't shower. But like other than that, like these kids are not likable, and that's one horror movie trope I actually don't agree with a lot of times, is making characters so unlikable. Like later on, like the DJ, right? Is just so unnecessarily mean. But yeah, anyways, so they throw Corey off the bridge, and Corey actually wakes up in the tunnel under the bridge.
Oh, but real quick, that's going back to that thing I was talking about before. It's at that point when he goes over the bridge, they step on his glasses.
Yes, yeah.
And that's completely the moment where like his entire world changes and he starts seeing the world differently.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
I know. I love that too.
And
it was so good.
again, you're talking about levels. He's up on that bridge,
And
and,
then-
now he's down low, and then he's going into the yes. So
Yeah.
I honestly, when you said the levels thing at the beginning, I didn't think about it, but now all of it is
Seeing it
connecting.
all, yeah.
It's all
And
connecting
it's
for me.
the cool thing too is he's thrown into it. Like it's not like he
He didn't
didn't fall. He's literally thrown into that world. Like into the descent, and it kind of makes sense because like a hero's journey is like they get knocked down, they get knocked down, they get knocked down, and eventually they kind of overcome it. But we see Corey's like struggling throughout the whole movie with different people always putting him down, and so to see like he finally is thrown for like so far down that he kind of ends up giving into it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to what everyone thinks he is. Yeah. So Corey, we see where he is thrown off and then he's like dragged into the tunnel, right? Mm-hmm. And so when he wakes up, and
he finds 4 baby turtles.
Yeah. So he wakes up under, in the
Michael
tunnel
Myers
under
was
the
trained
bridge.
by Oroku Saki.
The same mutagen that gave Daredevil his powers. So, anyways, Corey comes across Michael, and they friggin' connect. Like, Michael, I think kind of like, he grabs Corey, and I think he, like, ends up, like, giving that transference of, like, evil, right? Like, they kind of, like, connect. Like, they look...
Well, he, like, Eric Dravens them.
Yeah, he...
Like 30
totally.
hours of pain.
Was there
at once.
Was there a transfer of some sort during that scene?
I think what it is that, like, what they're saying is, and it goes back to the original film. This is why I like this movie a little bit more than, like, a lot of the sequels. I like that in the original film, there's a part where Dr. Loomis is being guided to Judith Meyer's headstone in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And the gravedigger's talking about Charlie Bowles, right? That was his name. He's basically telling the story about how, like, every town has a story like this. It's like, it's like the like evil touches people and then it, like, kind of moves on, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's just basically like in that moment with Michael and Corey, it's like evil is being passed on. It's on to its next phase. It's transcending.
Yeah. Oh,
take
easy.
that, all right, guys?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Read into that.
Read it. I'm reading it.
It's all there.
I'm seeing it. No, but I totally agree. I feel like he is, like, passing that and plays into whatever, like, a lot of the dialogue that carries on throughout the movie too, that Corey, in his eyes, people used to see him differently, right? Mm-hmm. And then after this transference of evil or whatever, everyone sees, like, the darkness in his eyes now.
Evil is taking a new shape.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
It's a callback. They originally called Michael Myers the Shape.
So I'm looking at the IMDb, and it doesn't say Michael Myers anywhere. It just says shapeshifter.
The shape.
The shape, or the shape. I'm sorry.
The shapeshifter.
Wait, how cool would that movie have been?
The shapeshifter.
The shapeshifter, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not shape-shifting. It's Halloween. I'm just putting different costumes on.
I'm really into the holiday.
I got a whole trunk full of these things.
So
look, I'm a cat.
I'm a cat now. Look at it. It's a little hiss.
Say anything you like.
See anything you like.
Okay, so then more questions about this.
I have a question for you.
Oh, bring
How
it.
come nobody reacted to my awesome Eric Draven moment?
I did.
Yeah, I wanted a bigger, like, clapping. I wanted you guys to stand up.
Is that a reference that I would not have gotten?
Did you ever see The Crow?
No, never saw The Crow.
All right, next week we know we're doing.
Wait, what's weird is I think I saw the sequel, but I never saw the original.
Next on Frequels.
Yeah, so after the transference of evil to Corey, the first thing on Corey's list is to kill that homeless man who threatens him. You know what I mean?
I do like the fact that he provided the murder weapon.
Friggin' Corey's method of disposing of evidence is downright amateur.
Yeah. He just
He
just throws it like 2 feet.
He threw it 15 feet away.
Yeah.
As long as the cops don't go, hey, let's set up a perimeter, like 13 feet.
Well, there's chasing down girls in that town.
Yeah,
Those cops are going to find that knife.
Yeah. No, so he does that, and then Corey goes home, and we get to meet his lovely mom, and he goes into the bathroom, and he kind of is like...
His mom.
Sweetheart.
Even Norma Bates was like, cut the umbilical cord.
Oh, my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America's sweetheart.
She was so nice.
Sweetie.
A little incestuous.
I liked her. So she was like, pretty cool. But he goes home and he's like washing off, but he doesn't really necessarily take a shower. He just kind of uses the sink. And why is his underwear so dirty? Did you notice that?
Michael Myers grabbed him.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you
But
want?
no. Michael. Not only did Michael Myers grab him, Michael Myers grabbed him, took his pants off, dragged him, and then apparently put his pants back on for him.
That, you know what? That tracks. I'm with that theory.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'm in it.
Caretaker.
There's a whole deleted scene in there.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to like what happens in the sewer.
So now we got like another voiceover from Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, who talks about choice. And then we see where she sees Corey outside, so she kind of like runs down, and then Corey pops up behind her. He's like, "Hey," and she's like, "Ah."
Was that shot of her through the window at the bush?
Yeah,
was
that's
that
like
an
a
original?
Yeah,
that was an original Halloween thing. I'm assuming because it felt like it. I didn't know, but it just felt like
felt
it.
like
That was an OG original.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely like a callback to like the original. And
I like
stuff.
how in movies people have no idea how to talk to each other. They just kind of sneak up on each other, like, hey.
Yeah. It's like, who does that?
They shut the refrigerator door, and she's like,
And
hey,
they're
too.
Like the kid at the beginning of the movie. They're calling for him. It's like, hey, Mom, I'm right here. No.
I feel like when you guys work together now, you should like, if you're like behind someone, go. You should say that.
Yes, 100%. Just sneak up on each other from now on.
Yeah. Someone's coming out of the bathroom. Hey.
Well, I do that anyways.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We need people like you on the streets.
Well,
we
actually,
need
the
you out
cops
there.
have been doing their best to keep me off the streets, but that's...
So she gets like the heebie-jeebies from Corey a little bit, and so Corey's like, he wants to apologize. He's like apologizing to Allison, and he's like, "Hey, can we go for a walk and we could talk for a little bit?" And the first thing Corey says to her on this walk is, "I killed someone," and she's like, "I'm into it." Like, did you notice that? He's like, "I killed someone," and she's like,
Wasn't
the
line, I killed someone, pick me up at 6?
Like, and literally, the look on her face is like she is thirsty. You know what I mean? Like she's like, oh,
Okay.
tell me more.
My stars!
Oh gosh. She pulls out an old school fan and she's like fanning herself up.
I'm getting the vapors.
Yeah. But yeah, so Corey takes Allison to the house where he killed that kid. A solid second date, mind you. You know, accidentally killed that kid. But he's like, yeah, this is where it happened.
This is where the parents refuse to pay me for my services.
Right here. And then if you notice, they like switch back and forth. Like she goes to the top and he goes to and they're looking at each other, which is like, I just want to relive it.
Yeah. Did you ever see Romeo plus Juliet when they're looking in the fish tank at each other? Yeah. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. That was their moment. Like on the staircase, like, oh, it's like,
no, keep going.
Okay,
keep going.
Anyways, so Lori, she goes to visit Corey's mom again, a lovely lady. She's just a delight. Yeah, she loves her son to a point that's really nice.
Almost illegal.
But she starts to friggin' blame Lori too. She's like, "Oh, it's your fault. Now that your boogeyman's gone, now Corey's getting all that shit." Yeah, cool. Like, yeah, just blame the victim, I guess. No, but like Lori actually gets upset.
Well, Lori turns around. She's like, "Is there a fucking bullseye on my back?"
Seriously. So at the restaurant, Corey and Allison connect a little more, but they're interrupted by officer who can't get a clue, which is pretty much. He's like, "Oh, hey, you would still want to hang out?" And she's like, "No, thank you."
He literally, that old man literally tries to lure the young girl away with promises of chocolate cake. It's in the dialogue.
Yeah, it's
He's like, "Oh, we got some cake over here. You want?
Yeah, you
check out my black rickety van."
Yeah, but this officer is
not another female at the table. Please, come on.
He's basically assaulting Allison.
Corey was like, "Can I have some cake too?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess."
But he's like basically assaulting Allison, right? And then Corey steps in and he's like, "Oh, I know who you are." It's like, oh, yeah, I guess it was like a Clark Kent thing. He didn't recognize him without his glasses first.
Hey, don't you?
A second.
Hey, you work at the Daily Planet sometimes, but then you're also flying around the sky at other times. I know you.
I know you. It took me a second, but the glasses. But anyways, they're like connecting a little more. Corey steps in, then they kind of bail out of there. And
I love how aggressively he gets in his face.
Oh yeah, it's like
to
insane.
mind you, a police officer.
Right. But so then we have where Corey and Allison, they bail and they take a ride on his bike and sparks are flying between them.
Are we watching Halloween Ends or Drive?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Drive
a lot of the
bit?
music in this, I actually was thinking about Ryan Gosling's Drive. Like, there's moments that I'm like, oh, man, this reminds me of Drive. They get to her house, and she invites him in. She's like, hey, you want to come inside? He's like, no.
No, he said, doesn't he say not tonight?
Yeah, not tonight. But, yeah, he's like, no.
Which in his defense that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You want to come up? Not
Right.
tonight. He knows.
Yeah, he's like, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, nope. But so he, girl. And so Corey,
I believe the line was yucky.
yucky.
I was like,
You have cooties, Allison.
gross.
You're gross.
You got cooties.
So Corey then suspects that he's being followed by, Officer Wardrobe, and he lures him into the underpass, which is now like Corey's designated kill zone. And I get it, at work I have a designated like fart zone, so I get it. But like Corey gets Michael to help kill the cop. Like, so first he's like fighting with the cop, and then he kind of like goes into the tunnels, and that's when like Michael kind of pops out, and Corey and Michael, start double teaming the guy, killing him, and like, so you have where Michael, and like Corey's like holding him, and Michael's just like stab, and at first like Corey's like, ugh, and then he's like, oh, like he's like into it,
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah. Oh,
Dude, it took 13 movies, but I finally got to see Michael Myers get off.
yeah. You know what's funny is like Corey in that scene. It's kind of funny because he's like, show me how to do it. Like he already killed someone, but he's like, show me like some tips.
Right way.
So like,
Can you give me a couple tips?
So like, I
on
feel
this?
like
Stab you, but show me the way that you do it.
I got the job done, but I feel like I could do better.
Yeah. Let me see how you do it, but I just want to.
So like when you
Like,
stab,
I
is it
need
like
a
at an
technique.
is it like
Yeah.
at an angle?
Yeah.
Is it,
But so they end up killing this cop. They not only slit his throat, but they end up stabbing him like, I don't know, at least a dozen times. So after this, Corey rushes over to Allison because he's all sorts of turned, and they head upstairs to boing. And so the next morning,
Jay, you're the man.
yeah, Walter, you're the man.
All right, moving on.
So moving on.
Yeah.
The next morning, Corey wakes up to grab his scarecrow mask and heads out, like before she wakes up. Then we cut over to Lori, who's telling Lindsay that Corey's eyes are just like Michael's eyes now. And luckily for Lori and the audience, the dead little boy's dad is there to back up her theory.
That little boy.
So he goes on and he's talking about how he went to pick up Corey the one day just to like,
just walking.
No, he was driving down the side of the road.
Yeah.
driving
Saw him
home.
there.
yeah, and he just like calls Corey to his car and he's like, oh, never
He wanted
mind.
to forgive him, and
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
wanted to
"You know
forgive him."
what? We're good.
Yeah. He's like, but the boy's eyes were evil. Like they changed. And
wasn't the
Lori's
same
like,
boy who,
It wasn't the guy who cut his lawn. It was
Right.
there was evil in us.
yeah.
I just like the
And Lori's
Corey,
like, you get it.
Corey's
At
like,
least you get
I have a motorcycle I could ride, but I'm gonna walk on the side of the highway.
So Lori tells Lindsay, about the eye situation, and we get to Dad. But so Allison, we kind of find out like through a couple scenes now. I kind of skipped over, but she has really shitty coworkers. We have this doctor who just treats her like garbage, basically. And
Why is he so mean?
It's because the script said surly doctor.
yeah, but again, it goes into it goes into like what I was like kind of touching on before. They make everyone super unlikable that is going to be like a potential victim or whatever.
Well, because it's I think it's an interesting thing to make you identify more with Corey than all the wretched people in that town that kind of like make him into who he becomes.
Right.
Because it's like there's like the nature versus nurture aspect to the movie, and thankfully they don't ever lean too hard into like why he turned out the way that he did, because I don't think that you should, because there's always that question, why do people turn out the way that they do. But I've been drinking a lot since
me too.
6 a.m.
I feel that like what Rory said is basically I definitely agree with that. Like that it's like the nurture nature. I 100% see that, But yeah, so we get to meet like Allison's coworkers, and we're now at the doctor's house, and so Corey takes out the doctor first. He has like a plastic bag over his head, which is not what Michael showed him.
Dude, you skipped right over the one part.
What?
So like when the nurse is in the room and she sees the present,
yeah,
right in the back in the pool, you can actually see Michael practicing his backstroke. Did you find that weird?
No, it means he felt injured. He was living in a sewer for a while, so to him seeing a pool compared to puddles, I feel like he was like, I gotta take advantage of this.
He's like, I need a mental health day.
Yeah, I rode over here on Corey's bike. I'm not the most comfortable right now. I'm gonna go take a swim.
I'm gonna go take a dip.
I'm gonna take a dip.
But go on.
But yeah, so we see where Corey ends up, killing the doctor. He's like stabbing him in the neck, and this nurse, she comes out and she sees that, and she's like, ah! And she like runs away, and then Corey's like, oh, I should chase after her, but she like closes the door and locks him out, and lo and behold, out of the shadows comes Michael, who they're like tag team champions now, murdering people.
Okay, Allison, the head nurse job just opened up.
Yeah. Yep. Corey's like, I just got you a promotion.
Yeah, that's the kind of boyfriend I am. Moving on.
Corey and Allie take another bike ride across town to the radio station, and they chat on the roof about their hopes and dreams.
Again, how did they get on the roof of that building?
Yeah. But we also meet the local DJ, who is terribly misinformed and a total shitbag. He's so terrible that Allison is like, she literally turns to Corey and she's like, "You're right. We should leave town."
Don't they say I don't want to be in Haddonfield anymore?
Yeah.
In my notes it says I don't want to be in Haddonfield anymore. My feelings as a fan.
Oh no.
Go on. I'm just kidding.
No, wait. Hold for applause. That was good.
So October 31st appears on the screen, and Corey wakes up in the house to Lori spilling out some crazy talk to Corey, right? She's just like, I remember back in the day, and she like tells this like insane story, and I'm like, of course Corey's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Let me ask you a question.
But go ahead.
Is she really there?
Is Lori really there? Oh, that's a good question.
I did wonder that.
Can
like,
you, why?
Because like at one point he almost like snapped out of it, and like she was gone, the chair was straight.
Well,
yeah,
it was more so the paper airplane, because that's something from like the very first scene, and why would she think to do that? I don't think that
so
she was
weird.
Really there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What she's like basically saying to him, I always just kind of interpreted that as him having almost like a conversation with himself about the different forms of evil, like the external things where she's like that kind of comes in. It's like a threat to the tribe, as she said, and then the internal thing that's just like there, and it's like the most dangerous kind of evil because you don't know that it's there. It's just festering. Yeah. The logic of the movie, like she would not think that he was there.
Right.
Like why would she go there? And the other thing is just that first scene, there's like a thing with the paper airplane being thrown.
Right.
And
Yeah.
So go back and watch the first scene.
No, that totally. Once you.
From Rory's teachings.
Yeah, no. Once you brought that up, I was like, oh my god, I never looked at it that way.
The only reason I look at things like that is because Rory taught me so much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, no. So this whole exchange happens, and it calls back to who's the freak show, who's the psycho, right? So he's like, I guess I'm the psycho and you're the freak show or something. And that's when she isn't there anymore. And he kind of walks over to the window and he's like, oh, I guess she left. But maybe, like you
like
said.
Batman.
Yeah, like she Batman's out. But yeah, now we cut over to like Corey, he leaves a voicemail for Allison. And while we're hearing the phone call, we see that he's like driving over to the tunnels. And while he's at the tunnels, he goes in and he wrestles with Michael Myers for the mask.
So, yeah, it says in my notes, just to read this back to you, it says, the fight, shot in a comedy wide, Ill-advised.
Ill-advised.
Looks-
I agree.
it looks-
It was an ill-advised thing.
It says, looks silly, and I wish that Michael broke a chair over Corey's back.
I wish someone was commentating it. Like, you just
And
hear
Michael!
Michael with the chair. Michael gets a metal chair from the crowd. Oh my God, Corey suplexed him.
WWE commentary.
And Michael's been body slammed!
This is a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
I like that both. You're both making this from the 1950s too.
We're not even like modern wrestling commentators. We're like doing it for like.
EJ went full Phil Hartman on Simpsons with the one-legged man and an asking like that whole voice was Phil Hartman in Simpsons.
Thank you. I love Phil Hartman, and I take that as a huge compliment. But yeah, so they wrestle, and eventually he grabs the mask off of Michael, and he leaves the tunnels with the mask. So now we cut over to the bullies, and they're leaving that same gas station where they confronted Corey for the first time, and they get a nice message carved into their hood from Corey, playing into the psycho thing again.
Now we know who the psycho is and who the freak show is.
And so they see Corey. He's like "Ring, ring, ring," on his mic, and he just takes off. He just stays there to make sure he's got the message.
If his like stepdad didn't give him that motorcycle, it would have been more like a ding 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 ding.
And he's like Pee Wee Herman driving out of there.
No, but I feel like
Tell him large Lori sent you.
Tell him large Lori sent you.
EJ for the win.
But so meanwhile, Lori is trying to talk to Allison and talk her out of being with Corey, and Allison kind of rejects her grandmother's wisdom, right? Who in the previous movies, everyone rejected Lori and like the danger of Michael Myers. Now she's like, hey, Corey's dangerous too. And she's like, you don't know what you're talking about, Grandma. Yeah.
For the record, guys, there's a real cute cat in this shot, but let's just move right.
Yeah, let's
No,
just move
let's
past
stop.
it.
Please, can we talk about the cat?
Cat's
We're
adorable.
skipping
Dude.
it. No, I'm running out of time.
I just want you to know that I have 3 pages of notes on the cat. But okay, let's go. Let's keep
Okay.
going.
We could do one page.
We can do one page.
We can do a
No, but no, they cut over to the garage, and the bullies show up looking for Corey, right? And like the headlights from Christine, Corey's truck. Again, I thought that was a cool like nod to Christine, where the bullies kind of are like there, and then the headlights shine on them. And I was like, all right, love it, But anyways, Corey takes out the bullies one by one. First, he kills mullet kid Pete Davidson with a drumstick to the eye, and then he parks a truck on top of another girl. And then we got one girl. He pretty much sliced up Stacy, the band girl, and then he blow torches the kid in the Letterman jacket, which is like I've never seen that done before, and just the way it looked, it was like so freaking good, like right? Wasn't it cool? I don't know.
You guys a little out of focus. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't push in too much. You just.
And like
just enough.
The light of like the flame in the mouth, and you just see like the
the
light
jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, it looked like a cool little jack-o'-lantern. I loved it. So he pretty much takes out those kids, and in the mess of it, right? His father gets shot in the head by the kid in the Letterman jacket, like before he's taken out. Like the kid has a gun, and he aims it at Corey, who's now dressed up as Michael, like head to toe Michael, and
his fall wear.
Yeah, his fall wear, and he takes a shot, but the stepfather like steps in front of it and gets shot in the head. And I love how like Corey really embodies Michael there, like the way he just like quickly walks out of a frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love that. I thought that was a really cool like touch and detail that they have there. But yeah, Corey Cunningham pretty much like kills all these kids. Even the girl that's nice to him, he crushes. Like he parks that truck on top of her, but then he also like crushes her head. You know,
he sartained her.
Yeah. He was like. Then we have where Corey returns home to visit his mom to show his favorite knife to her.
Yeah.
No.
And a thing that really mirrors the opening of the original.
Yeah. Oh, it was
POV
awesome.
taking the knife out of the drawer.
Yeah, taking the knife, and then he like walks up to the mom. I love the reveal of him behind her, like through the glass.
Very much like Judith.
Yeah.
When she turns around.
I love it. It was so good.
And his mom goes, Corey.
Corey. And then we get where Corey stops by the radio station to kill that annoying DJ that we just met maybe 10 minutes ago, a little like the night before, basically.
Not annoying. He's just trying to keep it real.
Yeah, true. By the way, this is the second movie now that we did on this podcast that featured on a podcast that had terrible DJs that I wanted to see get murdered in the worst ways. I was like, please murder this person, please. I don't care how you do it, just murder this person.
You know, I thought it was interesting when Corey was like, he's like, what's the name of that song from the Coupe de Ville? It's on the tip of my tongue.
And he just
cuts it off.
That was a cool death. And I like that little cameo too from Darcy, the male girl from Joe Bob Briggs and stuff. I thought that was cool. But then also so she gets murdered, and then the DJ gets murdered, and again, what a cool death. And all of that's practical, which is insane.
I know.
Yeah.
I like the tongue just going around.
The tongue spinning on the LP was fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool. And Corey knows how to play that music.
Which I'm going to... all I want to say about that, I love that, because when I saw that had to be a nightmare for whoever was doing ADR, post audio on that, because the spinning of the tongue and slipping and then going around. I would have loved to have done that. That was so cool.
It was so cool. I probably one of my favorite deaths of this movie,
and
I think,
because I remember my father listening to LPs on the thing. The fact that it goes around 2 times or 3 times, and the third time it hits the tongue, the needle drops off and then goes back to where it's supposed to. That's exactly what it should have done. Which was, when I saw that, I was like, that's what it does. That's how that should.
That's what happens when I sever tongues and
if
put
there
them on
was a tongue on an LP, that's how it would have happened.
That's what
I've seen it.
Vince has tested it.
I thought about it, and theory tests out.
Yeah. He's like, I have a theory.
I've thought about it. I've done it. I might do it again.
But
just to see if it happens twice.
So we'll go. So at Lori's, she's writing again, and then she kind of has a showdown with Corey. It's a little weird tease that she might commit
incredibly
suicide.
Convoluted.
It's really weird.
I was confused by it. I had no idea what was going on.
She's walking around. She's walking around crying and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually just footage that they got of her when she actually found out that there was this contractual that there was contractual clause that requires her to be in more Halloween sequels.
Yeah.
I'm never getting out of these.
Never leaving. But no, she's walking around and she's writing this, and she reports pretty much she calls the police and reports.
She calls it a self-suicide. Yeah.
It's kind of a strange little add-on to your psych out suicide to actually call the cops.
I was just wait, see, I don't understand this.
To me, it's I felt like there was this really thoughtful movie written that we got to see, right?
Yeah.
And it's this whole, commentary on evil and its origins, nature versus nurture, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they hand in the script. They're like, "Oh, that's good, but you're gonna stick the scene at the end, right, where 2 60-year-old people go at each other with knives."
Yeah.
I felt like the fight, this whole thing, just felt so tacked on because they're like, "Well, the fans want to see it for some reason." Not that they've never seen Laurie and Michael go at each other before.
Right.
I felt like this was the point where I stopped enjoying the movie.
I totally agree. I felt like you have this wonderful story the whole time, and then it gets to Laurie's house here, and this is my biggest complaint of the movie is it should have ended just with Corey. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really at that point. I wasn't like, oh, I don't care about the showdown between. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't really care about the showdown between her and Michael now. You know what I mean? I kind of was like
disappointed.
I was disappointed.
I thought,
but like Rory said, like I just want to touch on that too.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
well,
it's just that I think it was like definitely interference from like producers or studio to kind of like be like, we need the showdown between Michael and Laurie.
But we already have like a really good. No, we don't care what you have to say about your integrity.
EJ, do you have work tomorrow?
At the strip club, yes.
You could catch him down at the airport.
Yeah.
Down at the airport.
He dances
what time?
for nickels.
I dance for nickels.
Remember, I threw a nickel at his head.
I mean, oh Jesus. EJ's bouncing at the strip club, but I'm dancing.
Lingerie Leeson.
All right,
Loose
EJ.
Leeson.
So, EJ Loose Leeson.
EJ's bouncing and
Nickelback man.
All right, conductor.
All right, so yeah, so we have the showdown between Laurie and Michael finally. I kind of wish it ended with the Corey stabbing himself in the neck and Allison seeing it. And
awesome.
I actually saw a video where they talked about that, where like the appropriate moment to cut to black is that like when Allison walks in and she's holding the knife, because it circles right back to the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Agreed. It should have ended right there.
Right there. Just
that's it.
She
Done.
walks in, or actually the same video. They also said that the other appropriate time was when she tried to shoot herself, and it's just like click. It's like da na 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 na.
No, but I like how we talked about Fright Night last week.
They missed a big opportunity there.
I
That
know.
would have been so much better.
But like how we talked about Fright Night mirroring like the beginning shot and the end shot, it would have been really awesome to see the end be Corey and that spot where Jeremy was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the person walking in and misinterpreting like the whole situation, like the parents thinking that, you know, Corey killed the kid. Allison walking in thinking her grandmother killed Corey.
You cannot tell me that wasn't the original ending.
Dude, it should have been.
To make her have to come back was... no, that takes me completely out of it. They should have ended with the throat and the neck, her walking in, and that would have been it. Then, if they did that, hell yeah, I'd be in on the next movie.
Yeah, right?
100%.
And like, you know what would have been cool too? Corey kills Michael Myers in a sewer. Whatever. He's dead. So the evil has moved on to Corey. Have Corey be your new boogeyman. I would love a Corey Cunningham.
And that's what I was saying at the beginning, is that I have no interest in Hardy Boys, but this kid is so good, I'm going to check out Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
I agree.
Were you a
100%.
Hardy boy watching that movie?
So hard.
So hard. I actually the whole time, every time we brought up Corey, I just felt the table.
I'm calling bullshit on all of this.
So Laurie puts a call out. She has this face off with Michael, and she pretty much slits his throat, takes off his mask.
But not before Michael Myers gets startled by a microwave.
He's like, whoa.
Do you remember the thing pops up there? He's like, what the fuck?
He's like, I haven't seen those in 4 years.
He's just like, oh my God. I just got scared. Is that what I've been doing to people? I gotta go do something with my life.
I'm not a fan of this ending, but the fact that she takes his mask off and before she slits his throat, she's like, you're just a man, which is something Corey kind of says to Michael earlier, and she like slits his throat.
Okay,
I feel like she is no longer like, he had this persona of being the boogeyman and more than like a supernatural element to him, which like he kind of does still, but when she doesn't believe that anymore, that's when she's able to like actually put him down, you know? So I thought that was kind of cool. But Laurie ends up slitting his throat, pretty much nailing the guy down to like the island of the kitchen. And but Laurie puts a call out, and the whole town has a funeral procession.
Wait, what about
Michael?
Don't forget the granddaughter slitting the wrist.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because the neck wasn't enough, the wrist had to be done.
Of course.
Wait. So like Allison, when she shows up, she like runs in. She's like, "I'm not gonna let this happen to you." And I'm like, "Who wrote that line?"
Yeah.
Wait, if you want to talk about that line, let's go back to the beginning of the movie. Is this in every horror movie ever? so-and-so, this isn't funny. Because when he's playing hide and seek with the kid, I feel like in every horror movie at some point someone goes, Rory, this isn't funny.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? That's got to be a thing.
I feel like sometimes.
Well, I think
not all the time.
well,
that's one of those.
That was actually taken from Danny McBride's life. Yeah. He actually put it into the movie.
No. So they end up taking Michael to
the graveyard, back to the graveyard where the kid works.
Well, just like a place, his final resting place, a giant meat grinder, which, by the way, a lot of people thought that was CGI, but it really wasn't. That was actually a practical
man
that
they pushed into the meat grinder.
That skull crushing was fantastic.
Yeah, isn't it
when the body goes down.
But your sister and I loved when the skull got crushed.
Skull crushing is always fantastic.
But yeah, that meat grinder scene, like Christopher Nelson shared, like he was like taping it on his phone, like recording on his phone to show this was a practical effect, and it looks so cool. I'll show you on his like thing.
And she pushes him into the meat grinder. For some reason in my notes I wrote, it'd be funny if Laurie fell in.
Dude, I honestly thought
on the blood.
Michael getting crushed in that meat grinder too. I was just kind of like, well, we've officially demystified the boogeyman.
Yep. Yeah. So he gets grinded up. And then Laurie jumps in. She finally commits suicide like she wanted. And I'm just kidding.
I ain't coming back for another movie.
I'm not back.
Jamie, you don't really got to jump in there.
You really don't have to jump in it.
She's like, I don't trust you. Resurrection was promised to be my last. Why am I still doing these movies?
The residuals, that's why.
Oh, yeah. Give me more.
So the movie ends
money
where she finishes her memoir and kind of everyone we see Allison finally moving on and everyone kind of having like a
transcending
a happy ending for them, but overall,
where
what do you guys give this emoji?
Wait, what were you saying about the cherry blossoms? And I just put, I don't know, I have dementia. So here's my problem with this ending. At one point during the scuffle between Laurie and Michael, they look at each other and she has a Corey Cunningham montage. Remember?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't think a town heals with violence, right? So my thought was, did Michael transfer that evil over to Laurie? Because they have like the same little montage thing, and then she basically leads this town out into the streets to murder somebody, therefore keeping them permanently confined into some weird form of trauma. Like this evil is now stuck with them because they all took part in the worst possible thing that you can do. And then the mask is on her coffee table at the end. Mm-hmm. Is Laurie
Frankenstein's monster with the pitchforks? Everybody was responsible for it. Everybody that came to kill Frankenstein's monster, they're all kind of.
I mean, like that's the thing. Like you can look at it as a form of catharsis, but I feel like it's like she corrupted an entire town with their madness. Yeah. So I'm like,
did she corrupt them or did they corrupt themselves?
Honestly, they were all kind of effed up.
Let me ask you guys a question. So you get a phone call.
Oh, wait, I know this.
I love how he says,
it's 2 a.m.
Oh, no.
It's 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m.
Are you guys
down
to like walk through the streets and we're gonna throw this guy who murdered like a decent amount of people, we're gonna throw him into a meat grinder? Are you in or are you out?
But
should we
here's
see you Tuesday?
We got to keep it organized though, so think like Queen Amidala funeral.
Okay. So
and we're gonna make him crowd surf.
Right.
All right, so we're
in a very Christ-like.
So we're 3+ hours into this thing. It's 1:23 a.m. You have work tomorrow.
I do.
If someone were to make the call to you right now and say, "Hey, you know that guy that murdered all these people? We're gonna have a procession. Are you in now?"
Rory's not, but I am.
Like, would I personally do
Would
it?
you go right now? It's 1:23 a.m. Someone just called you and said, "Hey, you know that guy that's been terrorizing our town? We're gonna go murder him in a meat grinder.
Vince,
Do you want to come?"
Vince, you don't have to be coy. We can go take someone out if you want.
No, the answer is logically, right? Any person that got that fucking call, any logical person would be like, "What? No, I have work tomorrow." That sounds insane.
I'm calling the cops.
So
They're
everyone
in on it?
They're
Okay, so
in?
Clearly, Vince, I'm not logical. So I'm 100%.
You're there. You're in.
I'm in on this parade. Let's take it to the meat
So
grinder.
who made that phone call? And did they made the phone call and they're like, "Hey, you know, we're gonna go murder him." No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually trying to contact you about your car's limited warranty.
Right.
So if you're available,
That's who was responsible of making all the
who
calls?
made these phone calls?
Yeah. And everyone's like, "Yeah, give me like 10 minutes. I'll be
I'll
there."
be there, man. I'm
Hey,
on
do you
my
guys
way.
got a phone book? No, they don't exist no more.
Now, do you guys need a hearse or like what's the deal for the body? Oh, we're just tying him.
I'm
to
gonna strap him to my 1993 Honda Civic.
We're gonna strap him to the roof of our car like a deer, like they did in the movie.
Anybody else just want to ask Laurie Strode to leave town at this point?
Yeah.
No, we're good.
She's always got some.
Why is Lori always putting this bullshit on us? God damn it, Lori. Overall, how did you guys actually feel about this movie? I would say I liked it. Like, I actually enjoyed this a lot. Out of the new 3 movies that came out since 2018, this is by far my favorite one.
I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I did. Well, he's gonna break my sign. I thought Fright Night was fantastic.
Yeah.
I was in on Scream because I had seen the original to that, and this I was no expectations whatsoever because I hadn't seen anything from it, and I thought this was a great movie. Again, the cinematography in it. There's the crane scene. There's the stair scene. There's so many different things. Just like the atmosphere, just the overall vibe of the movie and the overall look of it. I thought was very well done and very clean. And there's a clear vision. Not knowing anything previous to this, I knew exactly what was going on. Yeah. Like, I mean, I have all these little, like you say, tropes of stuff that I don't know yet that's in the horror realm of stuff, but I feel like I'm slowly learning them and learning the rules to horror movies and things like that. But, again, overall, this was a great movie. I thought it was very well done. The soundtrack, again, I listened to this, not just like the source music, the score, John Carpenter, the Dead Kennedys, everything that is involved with this, I thought was... No wonder there are this many movies in.
Vince, all we want to hear are your emojis, okay?
What were your thoughts on this, EJ, overall?
I loved, like I said, I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite sequels in a really, really long time. And so to me, I would give this movie, emoji-wise, a pumpkin, a knife, and a motorcycle and a bicycle.
Ooh. I like that. Okay.
I got mine too. Mine also starts with a pumpkin. Pumpkin, heart, guy shrugging.
Ooh, all right. I like that. That's
okay.
Kind of loved it.
Guy shrugging, because we kind of like it. Okay, mine were soft pretzel, second soft pretzel,
oh, God.
guitar, and then battery, full battery emoji.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you need to explain that.
no, you don't get that?
I feel like it's like
No, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's soft pretzel, guitar, and full battery. So 2 soft pretzels because I like a soft pretzel when I go to the movies. I was enjoying myself so much, I went and got a second soft pretzel because it was that good. The guitar because the music, the score, source, everything was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then finally my full battery emoji because. Again, whatever this franchise is, I feel like they could do another one.
Can I predict your review of the movie?
Yeah.
Not as sexy as the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
I love Rob Zombie, but I agree. But
I think what Rory's asking, could you pleasure yourself to this movie like you did with the Rob Zombie one?
It's not.
That's really what America wants to know.
And then, like, do you guys have anything you would like to pitch or a plug? I mean,
Like, what are you talking about, EJ? Is there anything that you have in mind?
A great restaurant like that. Maybe it's like a burger bar. Maybe like a 3 Drugs Burger Bar. Check it out. Dunmore, PA.
What else do they have? Do they have anything else?
Man, they have burgers.
First of all,
French fries, deep fried pizza.
Oh, they have everything.
Hey, Walter, what do they got?
Burgers.
they're home of the $3 Jack and Coke.
He went right to the liquor.
Any bar in Scranton, there is no $3 Jack and Coke anywhere.
Okay, so you're plugging 3 Jack's Burger, and you're asking me if there's anything I want to plug?
Yeah.
No,
I didn't plug
Rory?
it.
There's this Raven View Productions. You can find us all on the Facebook if you'd like.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube. I would like to actually plug two. I keep forgetting about it, but I would like to plug Fourth Cut Productions on YouTube, and it's basically just weird horror movie stuff on there too, like skits and interviews and with like people from horror movies and stuff.
EJ, do you have any Instagram, anything that you would like to?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at EJ_esk. Or you could follow Fourth Cut Reviews on Instagram, and we have like cool stuff on there. And then I also have a Twitter. You could follow me at EJ Leeson.
And you can also find him dancing at the airport.
But no, guys, thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us.